Welcome to the kingdom. I'm Chris, and this is Good Enough Gaming. Howdy folks, and welcome to this painting tutorial video where we're going to look at another simple but effective paint scheme that only uses a handful of colors. And when I say handful, I'm talking like 3 or 4. Nice and easy way to get tons of models painted quick, get something on the table, but still have it look good. So far we've done Ghost and we've done Stone Statue. Today we're going to look at Bronze. So I've got this Stormcast Eternal here. You could prime it any color you want. It just so happened that I was priming a bunch of other models gray, so I added this guy to the spray stick. So we're going to paint him up here and see how he looks, and you can see just how simple it is to get a nice scheme, a nice metallic bronze scheme without a whole lot of work. So let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is select your basic color. Now I'm using Balthazar Gold because it's a really nice solid kind of bronze coppery look. You could go with something darker if you wanted a really, really dark bronze or brass, like Runelord Brass. Doesn't really matter. Any kind of yellow or orange, brownish metal. So this probably wouldn't work for a silver. Gold, maybe not. But after you put on the first and maybe second layer of paint, you should look something like this. Nice and simple. Just paint the whole entire model. But this is it's very stark. It's very strong. We need to add some shadows and some depth before we start doing the weathering process. So our second layer of paint is everybody's favorite Agrax Earthshade. You could use any kind of brown wash. You're probably going to want a darker brown wash. If you use like a sepia, it might not really show up that well. So get yourself a nice dark wash like Earthshade here and give the guy a bath. Whole thing. Weapon, shield, armor, the entire thing. This will bring the whole model down in its tone, make it look a little older, a lot more weathered, and a heck of a lot less shiny. So as you can see here now, the recessed areas are nice and shaded. We have a little more definition on him, but he is very, very muted. Now you could go with this if you want a really, really old, kind of grungy, grimy statue, but I want to bring up the highlights just a little bit. I don't want him looking that quite warm. So we're going to go back to our original base color, but this time we're just going to do a light dry brush. So it's going to catch all of the edges, the raised areas, the wide areas like on the chest and the shoulder pad and the back plate of the armor. And as you can see here, it brings a little bit of color, but it still has that nice contrast. We've got bright highlights, we've got darker recesses, looks a whole lot better. At least I think it does. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit more of a highlight, grab something like Skorax Bronze or just a lighter color. You could even use a silver or metallic to really bring the edges out and do another very light dry brush, only going down strokes here, not the circular one, because you only want to catch the top edges being hit by the light. So as you can see here now, we've got a really nice looking statue, bright edges, deep recesses. Believe it or not, we're just about done. All we have to do now is start doing some of that weathering. Now there's 2 ways you can do it. So get yourself some of this Lilac Oxhide. It's a technical paint. When it dries, it looks very chalky. It doesn't dry like normal paints do. So the first method is to do a detailed, targeted approach here. So paint the oxide into edges, crevices. As you'll see here, I'll also paint it on the rivets of the shield, but very targeted. You're putting it in specific areas. So this way you can choose exactly where you're going. Anywhere where there would be water like catching. Imagine if water's running down it, where would it pool? So the shield, we've done a targeted approach to it. The other way, which is a lot faster and gives it a really, really grimy approach, get yourself some Kleenex or tissue, probably not paper towel, you want something softer. Probably not a cotton ball, that might get a little too soft, but a tissue usually works. Now, instead of the targeted approach, this time just blob it on, randomly. Don't cover the whole thing, but put blobs of the oxide all over the place, and then using the tissue, blot or slowly, gently drag it down and smear it, and that will give it this look that it's very weathered, grimy, rusted. If you're doing copper, it'll look very corroded. So there's your 2 methods. So I did the rest of the guy with the quick method just to show you how fast it is. This took me maybe a minute or 2 of painting just blobs of oxide everywhere and then dabbing, painting down. And there it is. You've got yourself a weathered bronze statue. So now you could combine this with your ghost or with your stone and have, one regiment of one color, one regiment of another one, but you could get a whole bunch of guys painted really fast. So, hope you liked it. Hope you thought that it was good enough. Let me know in the comments.